Dr. Light, my dear Dr. Border, welcome to Jurassic Park, a weekly podcast on game design through the lens of Magic the Gathering. I'm Tim.
I'm Mono Whiteboarder, also known as Peter.
And I'm Lyght, also known as the PhiRexian.
Yeah, we got the new Jurassic Park tie-in for Lost Caverns of Ixalan coming out. There's a whole bunch of new cards. Lately, we've been getting these like commandery cards for Universes Beyond, and they're always kind of cool to read. So we wanted to get maybe some highlights of those new Jurassic Park cards, and then also just take a stab at designing our own. Light here, we were learning before the podcast, is pretty knowledgeable about dinosaurs, in addition to the movie franchise. So I'm excited for what we could do with that expertise.
Mm-hmm. Tim, is there any of the cards, I'm going to steal your thunder, are there any of the cards in the lineup for the Jurassic World crossover that you particularly like the vibes of?
Well, the one that I had to get behind was, this is kind of silly, Hunting Velociraptor, which is like a 3/2 first strike dinosaur for 3. And it has dinosaur spells you cast have Prowl, which is you may cast a spell for its Prowl cost if you deal combat damage to a player this turn with a creature with any of its creature types. Which is a slight change from how it was back in Lorwyn Block, where it was rogue, something rogue, fairy rogue, goblin rogue.
Mm-hmm.
Now we could do Prowl on anything, so the design nerds got to rejoice a little bit.
I love it. I like Hunting Velociraptor a lot. The flavor on this one is choice, and it lets me execute Zacama loops with 6 lands instead of 11.
Oh my god. What?
Or no, 11? 12. I need 12 lands normally to go infinite with Zacama.
So we got Zacama. We're going to Prowl it out. We have the Velociraptor, some other dinosaur.
Yep.
We're going to Prowl out Zacama, normally 9 mana, now 3 mana. It untaps all your lands.
Mm-hmm. And then we use Teemer's Sabertooth to bounce it back to our hand for 2. Because you untap, you net 1 mana. It costs 3 to recast Zacama and 2 to bounce every time. And so you can get infinite of the colors that you can produce, at least Naya. Because Prowl gives the converted mana cost change until the end of turn. It's not just once.
Yes.
It's not just the first time. It's Zacama casts for 3 until the end of turn.
Yeah, it's not like a trigger. It's not like a Snapcaster Mage or something. It just sets all your dinosaurs to 2 in a red if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, we're learning a little bit about maybe the depth of Prowl, something we maybe didn't get enough of before. What other kind of cards we want to pick out from this list here?
Indominus Rex Alpha is my favorite.
Oh, okay.
It was the first one that I saw. I think it's the first one at Vegas. I remember because the art of Ravenous Tyrannosaurus was the first thing they showed off, but Indominus Rex was the first card. And my reaction to seeing it was explosive. I leapt out of my seat, and I think I scared my friend John Fund, who was next to me, when I cheered for it. And she is one of the more powerful options. As she enters the battlefield, she does the Rayami Cathril Shuffle. You discard any number of creature cards. If those creatures had keywords, Indominus enters with keyword counters. And then you draw a card for each counter that the Indominus enters the battlefield with. So it lets you play some cool Reanimator strategies.
Oh, okay.
While you build your Death Machine 6/6.
So kind of baseline, you get to get your 6/6 and then loot away a bunch of cards.
Mm-hmm.
You can kind of get ahead if you discard a creature with like 3 different abilities with like Flying, Death Touch, and Lifelink.
Yep.
You discard just 1 creature, and now you're going to draw 3 cards as it enters. So there's some kind of basic ways to cheat it. Just play keyword-heavy creatures. But there's probably some other EDH things to do with this card, right?
I mean, I'm a big fan of reanimating an Ancient Silver Dragon, or an Old Gnawbone, which is a card that is good enough to play even though it is only 1 keyword.
There you go. You get your refund on your card, and then you get to reanimate it later. Looting a lot of cards is good in a reanimator kind of strategy, because you kind of need to have both the big things and the good ways to reanimate.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other ways to get counters to get more card draw with this?
Yeah. If you play, what's a card that I play in my deck? Runati Behemoth Caller is a 3-drop green Catman. Whenever you cast a creature, It enters the battlefield with additional +1/+1 counters equal to its mana cost -4.
Whoa.
There we go.
Okay.
So the extra +1/+1 counter counts. You can respond to Indominus Rex's Enter the Battlefield trigger where you draw cards. So if you have things that can put counters on at instant speed before the ability resolves, you can use those effects. I have one more. I really like Grave Endeavor, which is just a 7-mana instant reanimator spell where you roll 2d10, choose one result. The reanimated creature gets a number of +1/+1 counters equal to one result, and you dome the table for the other amount.
Oh, okay. So could I? So responding to this trigger is kind of interesting to me. So if let's say I discard my thing to get 3 ability counters: flying, death touch, lifelink, and then this thing's on the stack, and then I proliferate. Could I have double flying, double death touch, double lifelink? Get my
Draw
6 cards?
Yeah, you could. I've done that before.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah, a lot of little knobs to tie into. I think sometimes I associate these like keyword soupy cards as being like a little too much work, a little too much setup, but this one feels explosive. I can see the appeal. MW, you got any that you like?
I think Dino DNA is the one that speaks to me the most. You've got a little dirtily artifact.
Dinosaur.
Yeah. It's a dinosaur.
You can turn anything into a Colossal Dreadmaw.
Yeah, 1 mana for an artifact with imprint, 1 tap, exile target creature card from graveyard, activate only as a sorcery. And then you can harvest that DNA and turn it into a dinosaur by paying 6 and create a token that's a copy of target creature, exiled with Dino DNA, except it's a 6/6 green dinosaur creature with trample. Activate only as a sorcery. I don't know, I think it just captures a cool element of the movie. You got John Hammond looking at the mosquito and amber. This is kind of the trick with these like Universes Beyond is when you're doing them, you got to make sure you find that like returning mechanic that just fits so perfectly. And I think imprint is that mechanic. Like I feel like everyone and their mother was like, there's going to be an imprint card, right? You got to have imprint.
It's got to be a card from your graveyard because these are already dead. They're bringing them back as 6/6s no matter what because they only kind of cared about the exact DNA. They need to get people into the park, so they're willing to tweak these creatures.
My other real quick shout out is Swooping Pterodon, which is the funniest Magic card that I've ever read in my life. Swooping Pterodon is a 3 red-white dinosaur with flying and haste. It's a 3/3. Whenever Swooping Pterodon or another dinosaur with flying enters the battlefield, you threaten a creature. You gain control of an opponent's creature until end of turn. Untap it. It gains haste. It gains flying as well until end of turn. And at the beginning of the next end step, target land deals 3 damage to that creature because they drop it.
Yes, the land deals the damage. Yep. It's not the fall that kills you, it's the landing.
I look forward to someone someday throwing that at Shambling Vents and animating it so that it gains lifelink.
Oh, okay. You've got some animated lands. All right. And so this one's not legendary, but I could throw this in any deck that maybe has a decent amount of kind of Boros-y flying stuff going on. Or if I'm making a lot of 1/1 tokens, I can gain control of a huge portion of... Oh, no. It has to be dinosaurs.
It does.
Yeah.
Which limits your options, but there are a few good flying dinosaurs.
Okay. And it is just funny and a cool effect. Giving flying to stuff you're stealing seems pretty nice. One of the things with making a flying deck is like if I give my own stuff flying, well, I already have flying. I don't need more flying. All my dinosaurs fly already. That's why I made this deck. But here, because I'm taking other creatures, I want them to join the flying squad too. Very cool.
Did you have any overarching opinions on Universes Beyond as a whole, how they did all together? Maybe not a single card, but the total culmination of all the work? Big picture, if you will.
The sentence I've been using to wrap it up is there were a lot of really big hits and a lot of really disappointing lows. Because there are cards like the Indominus Rex or like Hunting Velociraptor that have cool effects that nail the flavor for me. But then there's weird things like the fact that BD Wong is backwards in Henry Wu InGen Geneticist, or the fact that Rexy, Ravenous Tyrannosaurus, is not a legendary creature, despite the fact that the T-Rex is consistent between Jurassic Park 1 and the Jurassic World 3, 4, or Jurassic World 1, 2, and 3. It's one creature. It should have been legendary. That's frustrating to me. And I really didn't like the secret lair drop that had the dinosaurs in it. Because, and I've been told that this was a creative decision from the powers that be told the artists not to match the cards to their original, the art to their original cards. That was a choice. It's a choice that I disagree with. I don't like that Rexy is a Tolly, and I don't like that the Spinosaurus is a T-Rex. I don't like that the Triceratops is Wayward Swordtooth, because Swordtooth is a word on Ixalan that means something. It means large carnivorous theropod. Grumble, grumble, grumble. I think that the misses really sucked for me, because this wasn't a 40K or a Doctor Who where there are 4 full commander decks of cards. There were like 30 cards in total. If they were ever going to make a Universes Beyond that would get me excited, this is the one. And I just really wanted to see the wins that things like, because I've seen them succeed, you know, with the aforementioned 40K and with the Who. Those knocked it out of the park with the flavor.
Yeah.
And I just don't feel fully satisfied.
Yeah, and when you have like 200 or 300 new cards, even if there are 20 that are duds, like just the overwhelming number like really makes you happy. And here, it's easier to feel mixed. Alrighty, well, maybe we'll do the perfect job of creating 3 or 4 new Jurassic Park cards together. We can make sure that we don't do anything incorrectly. To help us with that, MDub has put together a couple prompts for us to work on together. Kind of make it more Magic style. We're going to take a starting point and then kind of embellish from there. What's your first one that you have?
Our first one is calling back to The Lost World. I titled it, "The School Cut You from the Team?" So in Lost World is almost infamous for the possibly worst plant and payoff in history. It's a plot line involving Ian Malcolm's daughter, who was cut from the gymnastics team. And in the closing set piece, she does a bar routine on these 2 perfectly placed bars to help defeat the velociraptors trying to hunt down our heroes. Let's capture this character. Kelly Curtis is her name, and we're going to start from the card Hacrobat. We want to retain the spectacle on this card. That gives it a good gymnastics feel. And we also want to add something so that she works well with her dad's card from the set, Ian Malcolm Chaotician. But we aren't attached to much else. We like how the activated abilities make it feel like an acrobat routine, so we can consider keeping that, but it's not a must. Make it more gymnastic.
Okay. So we want to make a red-blue Hacrobat.
It doesn't have to be red-blue. It just should work with the Ian Malcolm card.
Specifically Chaotician.
Yes.
I guess gymnast could blue red does feel okay for gymnast.
Yeah, I think it would be fine.
Let me get a little rundown on Hacrobat so people know where we're starting. This was a 3-mana 2/3 from Ravnica Legions. It's a Rakdos card, has Spectacle for black and red. And then it has black mana, gain Death Touch until end of turn. Red mana, get +2/-2 until end of turn. That kind of switch between having power and toughness feels pretty acrobat-y to me, that second ability.
She has Foretell and Flash.
Foretell and Flash?
She has Foretell to represent the setup and payoff.
Okay.
That Peter loves so much.
All right.
She doesn't have to have Flash. That was the thought that came to mind. But I think giving her Foretell for that reason would be very funny.
Well, I usually think of Foretell as sort of like a sage, like a mystic sort of powerful wizard. But if Foretell is just foreshadowing, Yeah, I could believe that.
Well, I think there's one. I think is it literally called the Foretold Soldier? Hold on.
Oh, is that a Doctor Who card?
Yeah, the Foretold Soldier. I don't know anything about Doctor Who to know what the flavor mix in here is, but I just know that it's a green creature, 4-drop, 6/6 for foretell, 1 and a green. Can't be blocked by more than one creature. Whenever it deals damage, exile it face down, it becomes Foretold.
Okay, so it uses Foretold as a way to like come back from the graveyard over and over. I think this Foretell is pretty fun. There was the mechanic that Azorius originally had where you kind of revealed it ahead of time.
Forecast.
Forecast.
Yeah.
I guess that doesn't quite line up with the mechanic we're trying to do, but with Forecast, it was like the spell had a normal effect, and then it would have a Forecast effect where you reveal it from your hand during your upkeep to get some other effect. Like there's this one that destroys a tap creature, and you can forecast it to tap a creature.
So here's an idea.
Yeah.
The idea we're trying to aim for is that Kelly synergizes with Ian in some way. Ian Malcolm, Chaotician, 2/2, 1 plus is it. Whenever a player draws their second card each turn, that player exiles the top card of their library. And then the game kind of devolves into knowledge pool shenanigans because each player during their turn may cast a spell from among the cards they don't own, exiled with Ian Malcolm, and use mana of any color to cast it. What if she had an ETB that put a creature on top of the opponent's library?
Some sort of flash ETB, put something on top of library. And so you do that in response to noticing, hey, my opponent's about to draw their second card. I'm going to fling their creature into this shared pool of Chaotician cards. Okay. So Kelly in the movie is like spinning around and like kicking. It's been a long time.
She gets one solid fancy kick to a Velociraptor and sends it crashing out the wall.
Okay. That, I think, is a close enough analog to flinging something to the top of the library. She doesn't kill it. Or maybe she does, but...
I don't think she kills it.
It's just, but not knocked down. This is like knocked far away into the next room or something like that.
I also like that the action this card is performing with Ian Malcolm is almost as convoluted as shoehorning in an acrobatics routine into a Jurassic Park movie. That you got that going for it.
That's like a pretty nice thing to be able to do. Just like ETB put something on top of their owner's library.
Oh, she does kill it. Okay, that's not important.
Oh my god.
She kicks it out the window and it falls onto a metal spike.
Oh wow.
All right.
It's okay. We don't need to worry about that.
All right. I guess it's like a movie thing where, hey, if we don't show the creature dying, people are going to expect it to come back.
Oh, no, that's what you're saying. Oh, okay, I understand.
They're like shutting the door, like, don't worry, it is not going to come back. We succeeded. We're safe.
Fell off the cliff, don't show the body.
Maybe we're changing the canon here a little bit, but if it got past you guys, then I don't think necessarily that we're infringing too much on the flavor here.
I think that's fine, yeah.
All right, so this is like naturally a pretty good, powerful thing to put on a creature. I can blink this a bunch of times, so I can keep like flinging things on top of libraries. So we're already starting with like a pretty good EDH card that's going to have a lot of uses. Do we want to try to do something with some sort of setup or something? Reveal the card ahead of time, do something else that makes it feel that also makes it feel more acrobaty. This isn't quite a legend to me yet, just this one ability.
Right. This is just an uncommon in a modern design, not modern, but modern standard set.
This could be like if there was a Jurassic draft set, this could just be like an uncommon mono blue legend.
I kind of like the idea of keeping the foretell because then we're rhyming with Acrobat because Acrobat has an alternate casting cost.
So I'll jump in here. I did request that Spectacle remain on the card. I'm open to foretell. My pitch for Spectacle would be if you do put Spectacle on the card, you can give like an upside to you casting it for its Spectacle cost. That might help make this feel a little bit more legendary. But
Okay.
I like the foretell with the plant payoff thing, so I'm willing to negotiate.
All right. So spectacle is specifically if an opponent lost life this turn.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of interesting because it like you could have the spectacle cost be a lot lower than the regular cost because this this ETB ability that we have right now is like kind of a defensive-y thing. You know, it's at least an EDH not quite as good if you're doing it like post combat. So we get to have like a nice gap between like a spectacle cost that's 1 or 2, or probably 2, and then like a regular cost that's 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm. So if we remove foretell and we give her spectacle instead, we could return to flash because then it could be something that takes advantage of if your opponent gets bonked in an EDH game. So like when I'm thinking player 2 hits player 3 and then you player 1 flash her in after it gets hit and then you kick their creature back on top of their deck.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's pretty fun. You know, I'm setting up for my turn. They had a fight on not my turn, on someone else's turn. And then I just want that creature out of the way in time for my turn.
Mm-hmm. It also means that it fits right into the blue-red combat control archetype that has formed over the last couple of years because it goes well in goading stuff.
Yeah.
So another possible angle to go down here, which is a movie reference that I wanted to make for The Lost World but didn't get a chance, is the high hides, where you go high and you hide. So if we could maybe incorporate that as like a flavor word and put an ability with that, maybe that could give you some inspiration for an extra line.
What if she has an activated ability to phase out? Because there are multiple points in the movie where a high hide is one, but she also sneaks onto the transportation. I think they're on a boat and then on a bus.
Mm-hmm.
But she sneaks onto the island.
Are you saying hide? Like to
hide?
I hide.
It's what they call it. It's a box that goes up into a tree to avoid the carnivores.
Oh.
It goes high and you hide.
Okay. I think phasing does fit that pretty well, but phasing is not synergistic with the ETB.
That's true.
I feel like that might be a little frustrating.
Does she exile herself?
Or return to hand?
She could return to hand. That's acrobaty.
Yeah, it's acrobaty. Yeah, I would say it feels the most safe to me. You can't mess up the cost that badly if you bring it back to hand.
Right. Also leaves room if you have a bunch of mana to like return and re-enter her several times in rapid succession.
Yeah, that does that's not my style of EDH, but that is definitely a lot of people's style of EDH. What do I do with 14 mana to just ruin
I'm going to kick all of your creatures on top of your library. Good luck reanimating that loser. Cut you from the team.
Let's go cut you from the team. Yeah, I was gonna say that maybe we could make this, really, really kind of enticing by having it return a permanent or a spell. But I think if we're gonna have it returning to hand, keeping it a creature is a good call here.
Mm-hmm.
I think creature also keeps us a little closer locked into the flavor of the character in the moment, where it's kicking a living thing. If it was a bulldozer or if it was a gust of wind, like you could imagine that doing different things. I think the other thing that might be nice about this, doing this return to hand, is that it also makes the spectacle cost matter a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because if it's on my turn and I just want to like be the board cop, like I can get some damage in and then, play this for 2, bounce or library something, bounce it to my hand, then play it for 2 more. So 6 mana to get rid of like 2 big threats. That could really be worth it.
Cool. I'm happy with this. If you want to come up with a name here, Kelly Curtis,
Gym Team Reject.
Jurassic Gymnast.
Jurassic Gymnast.
I think that one's a little too tongue-in-cheek.
Opportunistic gymnast, something like that.
Combat gymnast.
Maybe bold or brave, because I mean, it takes balls to decide, you know what? I'm going to spin kick this velociraptor. That's my plan.
Daring gymnast? Maybe daring's
I like daring.
Yeah. Daring is like a very blue-red
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
epithet, yeah. We do have 4 different things on this card, but otherwise I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of different gameplay you can have. It has kind of like a baseline thing. The Flash library something, I think, is like a naturally very good ability. You don't need the creature to be big, which is cool because she's like a teenager or something. She's not like a battle-hardened, warrior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, feeling pretty good about it. Anything else we want to tweak?
I don't have anything to tweak. This is a card I would hate to sit across from, but that I would love to play.
We want to give it one more read.
Yeah, let's do that. So this is Kelly Curtis, Daring Gymnast, 3 in a blue for a creature, human, something. Spectacle for blue and a red. It's only 2 mana. Flash, when this enters the battlefield, put target creature on top of its owner's library. And then a hide, 1 in a blue, return this to its owner's hand.
Awesome.
I'm loving it. That's the one thing I knew about Lost World. So you're definitely hitting the pop culture ones.
It is, yeah. I'm glad it was relevant enough that you even knew about it, Tim. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. You ready for Jurassic Park 3?
Ready.
This one is titled, Give the Phone to Mommy. In Jurassic Park 3,
God, okay.
Sam Neill and Laura Dern return as Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler. Alan hasn't changed much. He's still very anti-Jurassic Park. He thinks dinosaurs died out 65 million years ago and they should stay that way. He is a paleontologist in a world with living dinosaurs. Meanwhile, Ellie's now very well connected, very successful, married to a senator, and has a child. She is no longer taking adventures to Jurassic Park. Alan joins the Kirbys, goes to Jurassic Park to rescue their son, and a lot of bad things happen. And in their lowest moment, Alan gets on a satellite phone and calls to Ellie. And Ellie gets the phone from her toddler just in time to hear people screaming and horror and Alan and everyone is gone, and she just hears screaming, and then the line goes dead. But that phone call was enough that Ellie was able to send rescue, and in the end, she triumphantly is on the island there to rescue Alan Grant and the Kirby family. So what we want you to do is we're going to have you design the back face for this card. It's going to be Alan Grant is going to be on the front, but you're going to design the back, which is Ellie Sattler.
Whoa.
Ellie can be any 2 colors from the color combo of Ellie and Alan. We want it so that you will play Alan and then you'll flip it into Ellie. So we want Ellie to have kind of a big heroic flip trigger when she comes in.
Oh.
Make it more timely.
So it's a 2-face card that has a flip trigger. I can't just directly cast Ellie.
Right. Because Ellie's not there at the beginning of the movie.
Okay. So Alan's there. He's in danger. Something happens to him, which we're not designing.
Mm-hmm.
We can hint at, or we can think through what it might be. But we need to just have something that the flip trigger. I'm really excited about this flip trigger.
Any initial thoughts, Tim?
What's the nature of the help that Ellie sends?
She sends the Navy and the Marines.
Oh my God.
Because I remember that because the kid that the Kirbys are their son that they're there to rescue says something to Alan. Well, you have to thank her now. She sent the Navy and the Marines.
If we keep this backside tight, then we can throw that flavor text on there. All right. Well, she said the Navy and the Marines. That to me, that's blue and white. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I was kind of thinking that she'd be blue and white. I was also thinking that like Alan would be green and white. I just want to clarify.
Yeah.
I don't want Ellie to make 311 soldiers and a 2-2 vehicle. That's not what I want.
But she's not really into science anymore by Jurassic Park 3. Does that seem correct?
It's not clear where she's at with her science career, with her paleobotany career at this point. The movie's not very good at fleshing her out.
This is closer to some of the Doctor Who saga cards where we've got some really specific mechanics depicting really specific moments in a particular thing. Less so than their most famous action that a particular villain took, or
right.
The most important thing to know about Cybermen. No, we're talking about this episode where Cybermen did this exact thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we're trying to open ourselves up to the universe where Ellie shows up on 4 or 5 cards, and this is just well-connected political Ellie.
So here's a thought. The context of the scene where the Navy and the Marines show up to rescue the party is seconds prior. There was concern that a pack of velociraptors was going to eat them. They had been cornered by the B-plot, which is a pack of velociraptors has been also chasing the group across the island in addition to the Spinosaurus, because Billy, Alan's 20-something-year-old protege, stole raptor eggs, and they've been carrying them across the island, and the raptors wanted them back.
Okay.
So it gets to a scene where the raptors corner them, and they give back the eggs, and there's the tension of the raptors are going to either take the eggs and leave or attack the party. And then you hear the sound of helicopter blades and the boats arriving on the shore, and the raptors notice it, and they're like, you know what? It's time to leave. That's our decision.
Mm-hmm.
They scare off the predators just simply by existing. So I wonder if her flip effect is a defensive board wipe of some sort or a protection spell. Something akin to a cyclonic rift, though maybe not that dramatic.
I know you were against making a bunch of tokens, but what if you create a bunch of temporary creatures they get to block with, and then they go away? That gives you the same vibe as a protection spell, but it is the Marines and the Navy. I don't know.
I just don't want to put the U.S. military on a card and say that I was responsible for it.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's just prevent all damage or whatever, I don't know. She's just a fog?
She's kind of just a fog. Maybe she's a fog and a regenerate.
Are people dying as they get rescued? Are they all bleeding out and stuff?
They do rescue Billy, who you assume is dead earlier in the movie because he is attacked by pteranodons, and there's a giant
4 pteranodons.
There's just a giant pool of blood. So you
and you assume, they tore him apart and ate him, but apparently he got away, floated downstream, and was picked up by the Navy or the Marines. And he's sitting in the helicopter in a hospital bed, just beat to crap, and then he hands Alan his hat back, which he was able to rescue.
Ooh, Indiana Jones style. There we go. One of the reasons to bring creatures into it for me is that you start to bring in the Rube Goldberg EDH stuff of seance or something like that, where I'm gonna just bring in a bunch of creatures to get their ETBs and then they go away. Flavor wise, it's just because the military is only there for 2 days. But mechanically, it lets us do kind of goofy things with cards that are in our deck.
Okay, so what are you thinking as far as temporary creatures? What does that look like?
And I mean, as a player, you can choose to not put any Marines or Navy soldiers in your deck. But let's say, I don't know, reveal the top 10 cards.
Like a temporary Genesis wave.
Yeah, exactly. You put them straight into play, they only hang out for a turn, and then they're gone. So you get to do a bunch of funny blocks, when you flip this, you have no idea how much help you're going to get. And I guess Grit doesn't really know how much help he's going to get.
That's true. He doesn't know.
That the Marines and Navy happen to show up is maybe a surprise even to him when he put this call in.
Okay. I kind of like the idea of like a temporary collected company. So what does the temporary mechanic look like? Are we like giving these creatures fading one, or or do we are we giving them a long apostrophe, not apostrophe, a long quotation marks effect and until end of turn typed out specifically?
Yeah, at the beginning of the next end step, or your next end step, or something like that. We're probably expecting to do this on the opponent's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because we need it to be as dramatic as possible. It can't be on my turn, because then the Velociraptors aren't attacking me. I already have an army.
Right. So activation cost, whether we scale it as like it's always 10 or we pay X. The creatures, you can do it at instant speed, reveal the top X, put creatures among them onto the battlefield, and they gain at the beginning of your next end step, shuffle this creature into its owner's library.
Yeah, that seems pretty good. So, the original card, I don't think we talked about. You tap and exile a creature card from your graveyard to discover X, where X is the mana value of the exiled card.
Activate only as a sorcery. It is so painfully mid, but they were so scared of putting Discover on a commander. Yeah, and then they made Pantlaza also.
Yeah, I don't know quite how to tie into this original Elliot Allen card.
I don't think we need to worry about tying into it too much. I think there's like if we choose to like keep the temporariness of the effect be that they get reshuffled, then that's incidental synergy with the original commander. And I think I know what Peter was going to say, where if we keep the defensive or the temporariness in the form of they get reshuffled, then you could theoretically discover them with the mechanic Discover on the original Ellie and Allen. But I think what Peter was going to say is that it's weaker incidental synergy than Kelly and Ian, which is true.
Oh, I was going to say that the revealing the top 10 cards too is kind of akin to that original card where Discover is revealing cards off the top.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, it's a little lighter than Kelly's connection to Hackerbat, but it's okay.
Yeah, so our trigger right now, I don't know, feels pretty okay to me as a splashy backside to a card.
Mm-hmm.
When this creature transforms into Ellie, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. Put any creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield under your control. At the beginning of the next end step, shuffle any of them still on the battlefield into their owner's library. That's not exactly perfect wording, but we're just kind of getting the idea there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a pitch for instead of 10, like some specific X or something?
It could you could have it be X, and then X is referencing something from the Allen card that that isn't designed. Reveal the top X cards of your library where X is the number of something that Allen did, or Allen's power and toughness, or
so maybe Allen puts some kind of unique counters on himself, and then they don't exile when they transform, so they keep the counters.
Yeah, I guess if there's more back and forth between the two of them, and it's like, I don't know, favor counters or whatever, and the more favors that you built up as Allen, you cash in more with Ellie. This seems a little more just like everybody's safe. It feels a little bit less of an interactive relationship and more of just like, Ellie called in the military.
Yeah, no, Ellie talked to her husband who called in a favor to the U.S. military.
Yeah, did a $50 million deployment of the military to an island.
To save 7 people.
Yeah.
How many was it? No, Alan Child, 2 parents. Billy was picked up, presumed dead. Is it just the 4 of them at the end? I think it's just the 4 of them at the end, because all of the NPCs die before then.
The NPCs. All right. I'm seeing in the credits here, Kirby's mercenary associate. So I guess all of them probably died.
Yeah, Kirby's mercenary associate. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, let me see. There was Cooper and Udesky. Yep. Yeah. And then one that didn't have a name. No, Nash. That was his name. And Nash, I gave the phone to Nash. Nash. It was Nash. He must have had it when he ... Sorry.
I'm loving it. We need to get immersed in this flavor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can't forget the classic scene in Jurassic Park 3 where they have to rifle through dino poop to get to the satellite phone.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that's kind of fun.
Jurassic Park loves their callbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So if you'd like to put dinosaur poop on the card in any way, Tim, go for it.
Please no. Unless it's the scene from the on rails 2-player arcade shooter where you drive underneath a brachiosaurus and have to shoot the poop as it's falling on you.
Oh, so it doesn't crush you.
Yeah.
We are deep into the Jurassic Park lore.
I have so much useless Jurassic Park lore.
That's why we got you. We need all the expertise. I'm hoping that we have enough room for this flavor text. I'm just punching this into a render real quick.
Oh yeah, gotta have the flavor text on there.
I think the flavor text is what really will help sell it. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's a chunky chunk of text, but you could definitely get away with putting some reminder text on there. I'm feeling good.
Mm-hmm. You think, is there any more room for another ability, or is this card has like the one ability? Is there a way we can flip it back to Alan? Or is it does it become Ellie, and then because Ellie arrives, the movie's over because everyone's safe?
I think that, because the point of making it until your next end step means you could activate it at instant speed on an opponent's turn, deploy your blockers, and then counterattack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the movie's over.
The dinosaurs. Yeah, and then the movie's over.
You waged war on the back of Velociraptors.
All right, I'll put end the game at the end of.
Nobody wins.
It's an instruction, not a piece of rule tech. That's an instruction to the player.
It's reminder text.
Yeah. End the game, please. We've been in this game for 3.5 hours.
Because imagine establishing a winning board state, but it only lasts for the one turn, and then you just have Ellie at the end. It's like, sorry guys, I didn't win. Now I just have 2-5.
You're playing Brago. You had to resolve 11 triggers.
What do you mean you didn't win?
Yeah. Oh, you have 17 cards in hand now? Great. Cool.
The really bad part comes when you flip your Ellie and then your opponent clones your Ellie. And so then they get their 10 cards and you just keep going back and forth.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
How are we feeling about this, Overmaster? Do you judge thumbs up with this flip trigger?
Yeah. That is an exciting flip trigger. It truly brings out the idea that she sent both the Marines and the Navy. And then I like that it's a defensive card because it goes well with she's a 2/5.
Yeah. I would say strongly discourages your opponents from attacking you. I guess we don't know what Alan's card does, but yeah.
It definitely disincentivizes aggression.
Maybe some of our Discord members can design the front half of this card and we can get a little bit of context. What's Alan doing on the island?
We need like a fateful hour or something.
Everybody, give him Ward 2. Give him Ward 2, please.
Ward 2? Because he's the ward of 2 children?
In every movie. No, sorry. That's just a joke on Commander design nowadays. That I don't think there's an actual reason that that Alan should have Ward.
I kind of like my backfill on that.
Yeah,
that was funny. There are few more tried and true traditions in Jurassic Park that are comparable to the children who come from a troubled home being in a location that they should not be in. Hello?
Sorry. I started typing while you were talking.
Oh, okay. No, you're good.
LA politicians SO. Oh, come on. Yeah, I like to think that Ellie is well connected. That's my headcanon, so that she's a...
If you want well connected, sure, we'll do that.
Yeah.
That helps drive home this is a different Ellie than we saw in the original card.
Mm-hmm.
So our final version, now we don't know what the Alan side is, but the backside here has no casting costs. It's just Ellie well connected. Legendary creature human scientist. when this creature transforms into Ellie, reveal the top 10 cards of your library. Put any creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield under your control. At the beginning of your next end step, shuffle any of them still on the battlefield into their owner's library.
Nice. Yeah, definitely quite the statement when you flip that over. Gonna try and win the game, probably.
Yeah.
And you can transform them with Moon Mist.
Oh, okay. Transform all humans.
All right. Our last one is going to be from Jurassic World. This one's called Don't Just Stand There. So in Jurassic World, pretty surprising twist happens. The dinosaurs escape. And during the attack, one of what I think is the most unfair treatments of a side character happens when Zara Young, the assistant tasked with watching the kids at the beginning of the movie, who has zero character, just gets carried off by a bunch of pteranodons and dropped into a mosasaur's mouth. So we're going to try and capture that idea of just really treating this random side character very poorly. I want you to design a board wipe that gives one creature on the board really harsh treatment. There's still a board wipe. Every creature's being destroyed, but one creature gets singled out. Starting from the card, Azuri's Predation. Make it more drastic.
So I think that the fight portion of this card reads something like choose target creature with the lowest power. All of these, parentheses, creatures, whatever the creatures are that are being created or brought out affected by this spell, fight that target creature.
Yeah. Let's read Azuri's Predation real quick. It's 5 green for a sorcery. For each creature your opponents control, create a 4/4 green PhiRexian beast creature token. Each of those tokens fights a different one of those creatures.
Yeah, that does kind of get the, I don't know, the flavor of a bunch of dinosaurs escaping pretty well as a starting point. A bunch of things pop out and then they start eating things.
We could play this kind of like, but the ones where they're like, make a snake and a wolf and a rhino. Make a 2/2 dinosaur with haste, a 3/3 dinosaur with flying, and a 4/4 dinosaur with trample. Although I think that my sell for this would actually be with island walk because it's the mosasaurus that actually kills her. So okay, here's one that plays more interestingly, I think, in a multiplayer setting. What if everybody gets to cascade essentially? So you do like an Atali for everybody, but you're not. Okay. It's like everybody. Each player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a creature. Each player casts those creatures, or however that needs to be worded, and then you choose one creature with the lowest power. All creatures that enter the battlefield this turn fight that creature.
In that way, like everybody gets a cool thing, but then this specific creature dies.
Yeah, then it kind of, there's a little bit of, it's probably a red spell. It kind of plays off of the idea of like Death by Dragons, where you choose one person who gets singled out as losing, but it's random, so that it creates fun gameplay moments where you don't know what you're gonna rip. If Peter rips a 1/1, then he doesn't get to keep that 1/1 because all of the other creatures are going to be bigger.
So you're sort of saying like one player doesn't get a free thing, everybody else gets a free thing, like this Dragons card.
Kind of. Okay. I think the idea is that everyone gets a free thing, but then you choose one creature that is the weakest. One creature with the lowest power. And then all creatures who enter the battlefield this turn fight that chosen creature. So it could be a creature that already was on the battlefield, but it has to be the lowest power.
Oh, okay. So this feels like a pretty inexpensive spell then, because I'm giving myself and all my opponents a creature from each person's deck, right? And then the lowest creature, which I have a little bit of agency over, but not a ton of agency over, dies. The main effect of this card is just putting a lot of beef on the battlefield, And then sort of like a little bonus flavor thing is, this poor assistant getting mauled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Does that fit the challenge? What you were talking about, MW?
I think I'd still like to see kind of it be a spell that has a board wipe like effect. It doesn't have to destroy every creature off the board. Azuri's Predation isn't going to get everything, but it should still feel like havoc has been wreaked.
Yeah.
So like in this scene, the dinosaurs are out, they're destroying everything. Other people are getting hurt too. And then there's one person that gets hurt the worst.
What if the spell has replicate?
So you're getting 2 or 3 or 4 sets of creatures off of people's libraries.
And then more things are randomly dying as each one resolves.
Replicate is really funny in dinosaur DNA land as a nice mechanical word that already exists in Magic that goes with everything else too.
Is it because they made too many dinosaurs that like we have this problem? Is the replicate the reason for the issue?
I forget why they got out in Jurassic World.
Okay.
Jurassic World is not my favorite.
In Jurassic World, the reason that dinosaurs get out is because the Indominus Rex goes on a killing spree once it escapes from its containment.
Oh, okay.
And as it goes on a killing spree, it is crashing through containment facilities.
Oh, okay.
The Indominus Rex does not kill every single creature that it encounters, despite its best efforts.
Yeah.
So the main havoc is caused by the Pteranodon exhibit being broken and all of the pterosaurs getting out in a massive swarm. They dive bomb the populated city center, not city center, but like commercial park center area where there are exhibits there, but primarily smaller ones. And so it's just a bunch of small dinosaurs getting out. Most of them are pterodons, though.
I think that it's like a specific group of dinosaurs to make it feel more dinosaur. I actually kind of like your Bestial Menace starting point of making like 3 tokens or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get like, here's a mixture of dinosaurs that existed at this park. The like, here's a plant-eating big guy. Here's a flying menace. Here's a water guy.
Water guy.
I'm sorry, I don't know the dinosaur names.
That's okay.
Mosasaurus or something? I don't know.
Close enough.
Okay.
I do like that idea too, because in Magic already, kind of conveniently, we have 1/1 dinosaur tokens, 2/2 dinosaur tokens, and 3/3 dinosaur tokens, as well as an XX green dinosaur token that Gulta and Maverick create. So like we got a lot of different dinosaur tokens for whatever reason. Even a 0/1 dinosaur creature token.
Yeah, there are a lot of tokens.
Eggs,
you're right.
We also have 3/1s.
Yeah,
3/1s. Yeah. So there's a ton of dinosaur tokens. You could even turn it into an X spell, and the X scales it up so that you get different types of tokens the more you spend on X.
I was worried at first that you all would think that like 1/1 dinosaurs weren't dinosaur enough. But if we're good with these 1, 2s, and 3s, I'm good with it too.
Actually, Peter, by the way, Gulta and Mavrin do make an XX trampling dinosaur, but Quartzwood Crasher made it first.
Oh, my bad.
Makes an XX trampling dinosaur token.
Look, I'm just a lowly skeleton tribal player, which is the only reason I accept 1/1 dinosaurs, because I want my skeletons to have a chance against some of them.
So where does the board wipe come in? Where does the removal come in with
Yeah.
with this?
Do you think it's possible maybe we like destroy everything that's kind of small and then create these dinosaurs, then all 3 of those dinosaurs fight something that we want to fight? Because all these dinosaurs that are breaking out, they're not killing the Indominus, right? Like we shouldn't fully board wipe.
Right.
They're like blowing up little people stuff. They're blowing up people. They're eating people. They're knocking over gift shops.
I'm just trying to think if there's a way to incorporate artifact enchantment or land destruction as a way to like, is there an or on this card?
Definitely in the scene. the dinosaurs are doing more than just harassing people, right? They're
Mhm.
going through the shops and destroying the shops. They're
Harassing
knocking
people.
over the carts. Yeah. Well, trying to keep it PG. We don't need to go into graphic detail.
Give me your wallet.
Biting Chris Pratt on the arm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if it was non-land permanence with mana value 3 or less, would that get close to destroying what I guess not lands, but
I think that would be closer to what I'm thinking.
yeah.
Hmm.
And that's like a pretty useful BDH spell. Like if you're destroying a bunch of mana rocks, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool idea. The idea of you make a bunch of creatures, you those creatures destroy kind of like the surrounding town, and then they all gang up for whatever reason. We don't know why. They just gang up on some random bystander. That could be kind of fun.
Okay. I'm just having a really hard time trying to coalesce these ideas onto one card that isn't overly wordy.
Let me get a sense for how long this is right now. So destroy all non-land permanents, mana value 3 or less. Create 3. I guess if they're all the same size, then that makes the card a lot smaller.
That's true.
And probably destroy all non-land, non-creature permanents.
Oh, okay.
That way, those dinosaurs will have something to fight.
Oh, yeah, because they need someone small to pick on.
Mm-hmm.
Then this could probably stay green.
Okay.
I mean, that rules text is not too big for a magic card. Destroy all non-land, non-creature permanents with mana value 3 or less. Create 3/3/3 dinosaur creature tokens. Those creature tokens fight up to 1 target creature.
Yeah, I think you even got some wiggle room if you want to expand on one of those clauses to make it a little bit more niche or funny or goofy or whatever.
So the idea is that those 3 dinosaurs can each fight up to 1 creature, right? So they could pick 3 targets.
Oh, yeah. All fight?
Well, no, because I was thinking that's okay. We could leave that and then say, then all dinosaurs you control fight target creature.
So they're all fighting and then fighting again?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Oh, okay.
They don't have to. If double fighting is not... Oh, do they just bite? Then all dinosaurs you control deal damage equal to their power to target creature? Feels a little weird to do bite and fight on one thing. Okay, never mind.
I guess if we're trying to have them fight more than 1 creature, then we may as well just like wrap that up into the first clause of like, why are we saying non-creature if we're then also going to destroy all little creatures anyhow?
Mm-hmm.
That's true. So then maybe the full thing with you make the tokens and then say all dinosaurs you control fight target creature.
All dinosaurs you control fight target creature.
I did kind of like the aspect of the fight where they picked on a little thing for some reason that kind of Light was getting at earlier, where they would cascade and then they'd all pick on the little thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this does miss out on that. I don't know if there's a way to squeeze it in.
I mean, you...
and still create a card that feels functional.
I guess you could just... Yeah, you could have them all punch the same creature or something. I think you're naturally going to be picking on the little creatures because you want your tokens to survive.
Yeah, I kind of think we have to choose between either the board wipe or the single target. One creature in particular just gets dunked on just because of the limitations of what this removal can look like with what we're trying to emulate.
Maybe you could add an upside. So if you choose to fight something little, you get a reward, like the dinosaurs gain lifelink when they fight it, or so it's like sneakily like, hey, if you do this just goofy thing, everyone's gonna cheer.
The thing that I'm running into is maybe true for the scene itself, which there is no reason why they all pick on this one lady. And therefore it's difficult for us to come up with a reason why you pick on this one lady.
Because it doesn't make sense. That's very funny criticism.
Maybe should we just trust that? I don't know what that character's name is, but she's in the set, and then you have the flavor win. We're allowing for the flavor win of
What if?
having all your dinosaurs fight one creature has some fun utility, because if there is like a big creature that needs to be killed, they can all line up and all punch the same. I don't know. I guess maybe that doesn't fit the Indominus thing, but
Well, we could steal from Ravenous Tyrannosaurus real quick and just tack on excess damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead.
Ooh, now we're cooking. So this is like part fight spell, part burn spell.
who was dealt excess damage in the movie? The viewers? Like the absurd. This is the only scene that I know from this movie, besides maybe a trailer, and it is truly senseless. It is very over the top.
The whole movie, she's this character where it's like, oh, no one really likes her, but it's fine, it's whatever. And then she just like has this horrible thing happen to her, and I think the like creators of the movie were thinking like, oh, people are gonna really love seeing this really annoying character get their comeuppance.
Okay.
But no, I was just like, what the? Well, hold on. What did she ever do to deserve any of this? Like, yeah, she was a little upset to have to take care of the kids. Okay, I get it.
And it's not in her resume, her job description.
I'm fine with this card if we can't get Tim on board with the like dream of fighting a 1/1 for a payoff.
I think I'm okay too.
You cast this card kind of like pretty early. Somebody for whatever reason has ramped out really fast.
Yeah.
They played Soul Ring and then Arcane Signet, and then they put down another mana rock. And so somebody cast this kind of early when no one's put any creatures on the board. So just like somebody who played an Arbor Elf or something just gets their Arbor Elf blown up for no reason. I think that's where we're looking at for this to happen.
That Arbor Elf. Oh, the payoff is you make a number of food tokens equal to the excess damage, which represents the popcorn that the audience was eating while they watched the scene.
They threw it. We trying to get that food on here?
No.
Okay. I'm pretty happy now that I've created this image of somebody's poor Llanowar elf getting blown up by 3 dinosaurs.
First guess is like a 3 green.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
There's Culling Ritual, which is 2 black-green. So it's 2 colors. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less, and then get a bunch of mana.
But that
we're doing 3 or less, so we're blowing up basically every mana rock instead of a lot of the mana rocks. You don't get the mana back, but we get a bunch of dinosaurs, so which is actually like pretty good.
That's okay, because we're not harvesting arcane magic from these relics that we just shattered. We're just having 3 dinosaurs beat up and devour one person.
I guess like just getting 3 dinosaurs and doing nothing else. If this were a non-commander card, that would be
it'd be pretty good.
6 mana probably. You maybe have some collateral damage because if you try to ramp this out too hard, then you're destroying some of your own crap. Your Utopia Sprawl or whatever is gone now.
It should be established that this is 9 power for 5 mana.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 green. So you're really committed to the green.
Dedicate it, yeah.
It's kind of the classic custom Magic thing where you're like, I don't want this to be 6 mana, but it's probably too strong for 5. I'll just make a bunch of pips. I feel like I don't know if I'm the only custom Magic designer who's done that. I'm sure I'm not.
And kind of overall playability compared to Uzuri's Predation, if I was choosing between the 2 of these, I would probably pick Predation. Like the upside is just crazy high on that. So we haven't created a card that like pulls you away from other competing cards. Like it doesn't obsolete those other cards, even though it's a little cheaper.
Maybe give it one more read through here.
I didn't know what to name this card, so I just called it Dino Mall Rampage because they're in like a shopping area or something.
Yeah, right? I kind of love it as a name.
Dino Mall because they're mauling. Maybe just leave it Dino Mauling, but spell it Malling. Sorry, that's too much of a pun. That's an Unfinity card.
Is it called? If it was called the Dino Mall in the movie, then Maul would then be the funny pun on it. But if we're just punning on our temporary name of the card, people might not get the joke.
I think we're just punning on ourselves.
Okay. So we got Dino Mall Rampage, spelled however you want. 2 green for create 3/3/3 dinosaur creature tokens. Destroy all non-land, non-creature permanents with mana value 3 or less. All dinosaurs you control fight target creature and opponent controls.
That is a pretty good line of text right there.
God, that makes me so happy to like imagine after a Gisheth swing, we just got 8 dinosaurs and 3 of them have enrage.
Yeah, I think it's synergistic with dinosaurs because they like to fight more than punch. Even if it's not exactly the same effect as what happens in the movie, it's the same emotional blast as the movie where
Look, why did that happen?
a 9/9, a 7/7, and a 6/6 all punch Tashar or something.
Fuck off, Tashar.
Wait, was that the start of a bad joke? A 9/9, a 7/7, and a 6/6 all punch Tashar.
I'll walk into a mall.
We're targeting Tashar because he can get the 3 mana permanents back.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and that was probably a sorcery.
Yeah.
Cool. We made 3 sweet cards. We talked a little bit about some of these new Jurassic Park cards. Of these 3, which one would you want to throw into the deck the most? Which one are you the most excited to play?
Kelly is my favorite of the 3 that we designed today. I think maybe the getaway car that the fans can find somewhere else later is my favorite of the 4 that we designed, but I won't bury that lead too much.
We'll make sure to at least get that on the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
As the challenge creator, are you happy with the cards that we've created for you?
Yeah, I'm impressed. I liked it. I'm impressed with the LE one. I was a little nervous going into it, but you really pulled something out that was pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, this kind of white temporarily blocking force, like not just a fog. We got some actual people here doing stuff. Alrighty. Anything else we want to talk about with Jurassic Park before we start to wrap up the episode?
Go watch Battle of Big Rock on YouTube. It's really good.
Battle of Big Rock. Alrighty.
It's just a Jurassic Park short story movie. 10 minutes long. Entertaining, though.
Wow. Cool. All right. When this comes out, you'll have just a couple more days to submit for our November design challenge. We do these every month. We give you a challenge. You give us some cards. Then we review those cards on the podcast. If you're a new listener to Beacon of Creation, this is your straightforward way to participate. Just drop a card. We're going to read it on the podcast, even if it's silly. Especially if it's silly. To go with that silliness, we've got the actual challenge itself, which is November. Design a card that uses something new to Magic this year, like a new creature type, new keyword, new mechanic, etc. When Brad concocted this challenge, he also came up with stackable bonus points, which is to use more than one new thing to Magic in your card. So maybe you've got something that has corrupted and also is a Time Lord.
Ooh.
The sets that are eligible for that, this is everything that was released before the start of November. So this is everything before Ixalan. All Will Be One, March of the Machine, Aftermath, Lord of the Rings, Wilds of Eldraine, and then all the various commander decks, including Doctor Who. Light, anything jump out as things that you'd brew with if you were coming up with a card?
You're making me think about Toxic and time counters and proliferation together. And that's making my wheels turn.
Well, if you cook up a card for us, make sure to drop that in the Discord so we could talk about it.
I will make the Golgari Time Lord we all deserved.
Alrighty. What the fans need. That's our podcast for the week. You can join the Discord with the link in the show notes to participate and talk to all of us. We've got this You Make the Pack thing going. That's been pretty fun that we might get on the air as well. Thanks again for coming on, Light.
Thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Anything you want to plug, tell people about?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Lyght, otherwise known as the PhiRexian, which you can find me on Twitter as. The 2 big things that I do is that I am the team leader for Praetors for Change. We're a group of Magic streamers and artists who raise money and awareness for good causes and play Phyrexian-themed EDH while we do it. Find us Praetors 4, the number 4, Change, on Twitter. for better or worse. That's where we talk about most of the things that we do when we do them. And then also, I have been getting more into writing primers for my decks on Moxfield. Right now, there's one for my Indominus Rex list and my Blue and Owen list. I'm focusing on the dinosaur stuff because it's what I'm excited about right now. Go read them. They're very entertaining. At least I like to think so.
Yeah, I can second that. I read the Indominus Rex one, and I think I laughed the whole way through. It was very fun.
Okay.
Yeah, it was really lots of good little jokes there, especially if you like Jurassic Park.
I don't know if I've read a lot of humorous deck primers, so I'm looking forward to this. I have to dive in. Alrighty. Anything you want to plug for us, MDub?
You know, I haven't seen this movie, but a friend whose opinion I trust told me about it. There's a new horror movie that came out called Thanksgiving that is like a Thanksgiving themed horror movie that they said was fantastic.
The sight unseen plug.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous pitching a movie I haven't seen, but I couldn't think of one. Obviously, you could go watch Jurassic Park too. That's good.
I don't have any Jurassic Park movies to recommend, unfortunately, but if you want to reach me, I'm at Tim F. Riley. And thanks for listening.
And always remember, they're traveling in herds. They do travel in herds.
That is not the quote. I'm disappointed.
Oh, no, it's move. It's move. It's move. No. I even told myself I have to remember.
You had one chance to impress me.
Try again. And always remember, they're moving in herds. They do move in herds.